Use rhyme scheme to define your sound in poetry. Use rhyme scheme to define your sound. Use rhyme scheme to define your sound in poetry. How? Now that you've said, go soul the body's guests, upon a thankless errand, fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Go since thy need must die, and give the world the lie. If you look at this line, you're going to see that guests and bests have similar sound. Errant and warrant sound alike. Then die and lie sound alike. How do you define this sound? They ask you, okay, explain this sound. Two things should be involved. One, what type of rhyme is this? Two, what is the rhyme scheme? What type of rhyme is this? And what is the rhyme scheme? If you want to start with this, you let us know that this is a kind of rhyme that has, is this a combination of two types of rhyme? Two types of rhyme. Two types of rhyme. If possible, three types of rhyme. First of all, we have end rhyme here. One, we'll talk about it. And we have alternate rhyme here. And we have couplet rhyme here. End rhyme, alternate rhyme, and couplet rhyme. But how do we get to this conclusion? It is an end rhyme because the sound occurs at the end of the line. Go soul that body's guests upon a thankless errand. Fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Go since thy need must die, and give the world the lie. This is a poem written by Sir Walter Raleigh, The Soul's Errand. One of the last poems, if not the last poem he wrote while in prison. An English poet. He died in the prison. You know, he was sent to prison for, let's say, an offense he committed. And the queen angrily sent him to the prison. For you doing this, he was a knight to the queen. He was a knight to the Queen of England then. But he did something bad, and the queen had to send him to prison. While in prison, he wrote a poem entitled The Soul's Errand. What was he trying to say in that poem? He tried to make you understand that my soul, I cannot leave this place for now. Very soon, the body is going to die. But the soul, you cannot die. I want you to go to the world. If you check, your soul is a guest in your body. The moment you are through with your activities on earth, the body dies and the soul leaves the body. The soul does not die. The soul goes back to the Creator. He said, go soul, the body's guests, upon a thankless errand. Meaning, I'm sending you on an errand that nobody will tell you thank you. Nobody will be happy that you are doing this. Fear not to touch the best. Don't be afraid to talk to anybody. Why? The truth shall be thy warrant. Because you are going to tell them the truth. He says, go since thy need must die. Go because I must still die. I will still die. And give the world the lie. Tell the world that what they are doing is not right. And he has to mention many things. He said, now, the first point, if at all, he says, go tell the church. Go tell the church. It shows what's good and does no good. Go tell the court. It glows and shines like rotten wood. If church and court reply, straight give them both the lie. How? He said, go and tell the church. meaning our spiritual houses, our spiritual leaders, our big fathers in the Lord, our imams, our pastors, all of them. Tell them, tell the church, the so-called Muslims and Christians, you can't be a child of God and you're fighting one another. Tell them that they are showing what is good to the world, but they are not doing the right thing. Go tell the church, it shows what's good and does no good. He said, go tell the court, it glows. The judicial system is going down. Lawyers are beautiful. They look fine in their garb. They look fine in their costumes, in their clothes. If you go to the court, you see learned people. They are very learned. The court looks beautiful. Go tell the court it's glowing and shining like rotten wood. You know, despite the fact that they have learned people there, things are not working. The judicial system almost globally is in shambles. Things are not working. The innocent are being imprisoned. You see that? The guilty ones are being set free. Problems everywhere. It says, go tell the court, it glows and shines like rotten wood. If church and court reply, then give them both the lie. You see? So, and after, at the end of, very long poem too, at the end of the poem, he said, when thou hast done as I have commanded thee, done blabbing, he said, when you have talked your nonsense, because they will see it as nonsense. He said, because to give the lie deserve no less than stabbing. If you tell them the truth, they will look for you to kill you. He said, stab at thee, he that will. Let him that want to kill you, but no stab the soul can kill. Nobody can kill the soul. If you look for it, you cannot even see it. So go and tell them. That is the soul's errand. And after that poem, it did not even take long. Sir Walter Raleigh passed on. He was executed. They killed him. So look at that. Now, we are still talking about rhyme. Types of rhyme. You're going to see. Let's start with end rhyme. Let's start with end rhyme. Let's start with end rhyme. Now, please, if you're in my class, you don't sleep. Because when you sleep, you won't learn. Anytime you see your neighbor sleeping, you tap them. If you don't wake them, you are the one I'll punch. I'll send you out of my class for not waking the sleeping person. Don't let them shut their eyes, so keep touching them. Are you following? Because it will be bad that you listen to the God of literature, you didn't grab something. That's an error. Big error. If you just check and you see the person closing, tap the person. They won't beat you. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here. They're not going to beat you. Do you hear me? Just touch the person. Touch the person. Touch the person. The sleep must die. You see, sleep must die. Aha. You know, the best thing, if you want to sleep, don't worry. When the time comes, you will sleep. And I just pray you grow old before you sleep. Because that day, if you sleep, nobody will wake you again. Very soon, you see that kind of sleep. You know? And you sleep. Nobody's going to wake you. You sleep. Just enjoy yourself. Some people are sleeping that type of sleep now. Nobody is bothering them. So take the legs down. Put it down. Put it down. It's disturbing. Put it down. Yes. Now, types of rhyme. Let's take end rhyme. End rhyme occurs when the sound appears at the end of the line. Are you still there? Almost lots of poems have end rhyme. End rhyme. Who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed. That is end rhyme. That's end rhyme. That's end rhyme. Look at Alfred Lord Tennyson's Crossing the Bar. Sunset and evening star, and one clerk called for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. That's end rhyme. Then another type of rhyme is opening or initial rhyme. Opening or initial rhyme. You see, the opening rhyme is known for its name. This type of rhyme occurs at the beginning of the lines. Occurs at the beginning of the lines. Why not say something like, whether you like it or not, the weather will be fine today. The first line is whether you like it or not. It ends with THE. Then the second line begins with weather will be fine today. Whether I like it or not, the weather will be fine today. If you look at it, there's rhyme. And the rhyme is at the beginning of the lines. You call it initial rhyme or you call it opening rhyme. You understand? Now, the third one is internal or mid rhyme. Internal or mid rhyme. Internal or mid rhyme. Internal or mid rhyme. The internal rhyme or the mid rhyme is this type of rhyme that you don't see at the beginning of the lines, neither do you see it at the end of the line, but you see it in the middle of the lines. So, if you are looking for rhyme in a poem, be careful how you watch. Be careful because you may look at the beginning, no sound, no rhyme. Look at the end, no rhyme. Why not at the middle? There may be rhyme. There may be words that sound alike in each line of the poem or in lines of the poem. So take note, rhyme can occur at the end of lines, at the beginning of lines, or in the middle of lines. So you've seen that. Then there's another type of rhyme, just like what we have on the board. We'll call it couplet rhyme. Couplet rhyme. The couplet rhyme has two lines rhyming successively. Two lines rhyming successively. Two lines rhyming successively. The couplet rhyme has two lines rhyming successively. Two lines rhyming successively. That's a couplet rhyme. Look at die and lie. That is couplet rhyme. Couplet is gotten from the word couple. Two lines rhyming successively. Again, look at twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. If you check, you see that we have two couplet rhymes here. Star and they sound alike. High and sky, they sound alike. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. We have two couplet rhymes there. Two couplet rhymes there. So don't forget, a couplet rhyme is a type of rhyme with two lines of poetry rhyming successively. Good. Then we have the alternate rhyme. That's the one we have here. The alternate rhyme. Alternate rhyme. You see the alternate rhyme? The alternate rhyme is another beautiful type of rhyme. In this type of rhyme, you'll be seeing that the first line is, in fact, is very different from the couplet rhyme. The first line does not rhyme with the second line, but it must rhyme with the third line. The second line does not rhyme with the third line, but it must rhyme with the fourth line. So you see things like, go sold our body's guests upon a thankless errand. Fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Are you scared of him? Wake that boy. Go see. If I see him close his eyes again, I'll punish the person close to him. Don't like see people sleep in front of me. If you try it again, you go and kneel down there. You don't sleep in my class. It's an error, big one. And you slept. You've been sleeping. You've been sleeping. Are you not tired of sleeping? So don't breach my class again. Now, go sold our body's guests upon a thankless errand. Fear not to touch the best, the truth shall be thy warrant. If you look at this type of line, it is called alternate rhyme. Alternate rhyme has the first line rhyming with the third line, the second line rhyming with the fourth line. This is alternate rhyme. You see it, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. That is alternate rhyme. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Alternate rhyme. You see it? Now, another one is the triplet rhyme. Oh boy. The triplet rhyme. The triplet rhyme comes to play, and we have 3 lines of poetry rhyming successively. 3 lines of poetry rhyming successively. 3 lines of poetry sounding alike. Yes, a very popular poem, my mother has it. Who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed. My mother. You can see the 3 lines. When pain and sickness made me cry, who gazed upon my heavy eye, and feared for death that I should die. My mother. When thou art feeble, old, and grey, my healthy arm shall be thy stay, and I will shoo your pains away. My mother. I know the thought I cannot bear, that if God please my life to spare, I hope I shall reward thy care. Can see those rhyme schemes. A. The 3 of them rhyming together, rhyming successively. That is called triplet rhyme. Don't forget these things. Triplet rhyme, triplet rhyme, triplet rhyme. Now we'll see other ones which we'll be talking about later. I'll be telling you about partial rhyme, telling you about I rhyme, telling you about masculine rhyme, telling you about feminine rhyme. Right now, let's talk about rhyme scheme, so that you can know how to define it. Because they ask you, what is the rhyme scheme here? Most of us maybe find it difficult to understand what the question looks like. What is the rhyme scheme? That's a big question. What is the rhyme scheme? If they ask you now, what is the rhyme scheme? Some of us will be confused. Right now, let's look at it from this angle. When you say rhyme scheme is defined by using your alphabet, the letters in the alphabet. And now, since we are doing literature in English, you use the letters of the English alphabet to state your rhyme scheme. Remember, if you are doing literature in French, use the letters of the French alphabet. If you are doing literature in Spanish, use the Spanish alphabet. If you are doing literature in Yoruba, use the letters of the Yoruba alphabet. But right now we are doing literature in English. You know our alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and all that. So they ask you what's the rhyme scheme of this poem. See what you do. Start with the first letter. Your first letter is A. So this guy, you're going to write A. A. Now you check the second line. Does it have the same sound with the first line? If no, put the next alphabet, B. Check the third line. Does it have the same sound with the first line? If yes, put A. And the fourth line, how does it look like? If you check properly, you see that the fourth line looks like the second line. Then you put B. That is A, B, A, B. Go sold our bodies guests upon a thankless errand. Fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. You see that? Then look at the third, the fourth, the fifth line. Go since thy need must die. Die does not sound like anything here. It will be C and give the world the lie. To be another C. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, C. That's the rhyme scheme. Have you seen that now? The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, C. And please, never for any reason start with any alphabet with any letter apart from letter A. Don't start with B or C or D. No. Letter A. Do you understand? Now let's play. Let's play with this. I'll put some little things on the board here. We are through with this. Let me do this. Let's do this. So you don't waste my time with this. Let's take daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud rather, that flows on high o'er vales and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. What's the rhyme scheme? Now, if you look at this properly, if you will answer this question, because this question you see it in any exam. In fact, you will see it in UTME exam, you see them in WAEC exam, you see them in NECO exam, you see them in GCSE exam, you see them in all literature in English exam. It does not change. Rhyme remains rhyme. And then put A first. That's the first sound. Cloud. We are not looking for the letter. Cloud. Then, let's see. Hills and cloud. Do they sound alike? No. So put the next letter. D. Crowd. Does it sound like hills or like cloud? I think it sounds like cloud. So you put A. Daffodils sound like hills. So you put B. Trees does not resemble anything here. So you put C. Breeze looks like trees. So you put another C. That is A, B, C, C. You see that? A, B, C, C. A, B, C, C. A, B, C, C. A, B, C, C. All right. You've seen that now. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. It has the same pattern with The Soul's Errand by Sir Walter Raleigh that says, go soul the body's guests upon a thankless errand. Fear not to touch the best. The truth shall be thy warrant. Go since thy need must die, and give the world the lie. That is A, B, C, C. We'll keep making progress. I believe at this time you know what rhyme scheme is all about. So if you come across any kind of question on rhyme and they ask you what's the rhyme scheme, you should be able to talk. You should be able to talk. You should be able to talk. We are through with rhyme then. We move through with rhyme. So let's look at another thing, another literary term. Let's look at another literary term. All right. The next one we'll be talking about is satire. We are looking at satire now. What is a satire? Is satire a general literary term? Is satire a dramatic term? Is satire a narrative term or poetic term? Where can we place it? Because the problem we have as literature and English students is that you know the definition of these things, but if they ask you to place them, as I said earlier, they can ask you, pick the odd item from the list below, and you'll be saying satire, allusion, sarcasm, ambiguity. Probably, let's look at it, they will be saying, okay, which one should we take out of this place? For instance, okay, let's look at this guy. Metaphor, paradox, parody, irony. If you look at all of them, they'll ask you, pick the odd item. That's where the problem lies. Now, if you don't have a clear knowledge of all of this, you get confused. We're looking at it, okay, paradox and parody. Paradox, probably they are the same, they look alike, they're from one family, but at the end of the day, you discover that this is the odd item. Why? You have good knowledge of literary terms. You know, this is the odd item because this is used to describe a type of literary work, but others are examples of figurative devices. If you have that knowledge, it will go a long way. So we'll come back to that. Let's look at satire. Satire is a literary work designed to ridicule. You ridicule, that means you mock. Satire is a literary work designed to ridicule or mock a subject for them to change from their bad ways, for them to turn new leaves. You know, you ridicule or mock a subject for them to turn new leaves. You ridicule or mock a subject, you expose them, expose their weaknesses. Not that you want to just allow them to die like that. You don't want them to just fade away like that. You are trying to expose them to ridicule. You're trying to make the world laugh at them a little just for them to change. Because in every satire, there must be solution to the problem. There must be solution. If there's no solution, then the message has not been passed. If there's no solution, the message has not been passed. How? If you look at Niyo Shundare's poem, The Leader and the Led, that's a perfect example of a satire. The Leader and the Led, we are in a kind of, globally, the global society is going through pain when it comes to leadership. Leadership in all perspective, in all segments, is a little bit shaky. Now, Niyo Shundare, a big poet, a professor of literature from Ikare Ekiti in Nigeria, a guy really based in the US, doing his things, but he's a professor of Abefmelo University, Ile-Ife, big one. So he's a contemporary poet, that's a modern poet, he's a fine poet. This guy says, the lion stakes his claim to the leadership of the pack, but the antelope remembers the ferocious pounce of his paws. That's one type. We have leaders that are ferocious, leaders that are violent. Then number two, the hyena says the crown is made for him, but the impala shudder at his lethal appetite. We have leaders that are gluttonous, that take everything that belongs to them and everything that belongs to the followers. You see that, and their followers are the opposite of them. Impala is an African type of antelope. How can you be a hyena and your followers are antelopes? That means you kill them all. Look at number three. The giraffe craves a place in the front, but his eyes are too far from the ground. The giraffe don't bite. Giraffes are not animals that feed on other animals, so to say, but they have their own weaknesses. The giraffe craves a place in the front. Yes, this is right. He has the right to lead, but his eyes are too far from the ground. These are leaders that do not have time for the common man. They don't see those at the bottom rung of the ladder. That's bad. Look at the fourth one. When the zebra says it's his right to lead, the pack points to the duplicity of his tribe. The zebras, they are from the horse family. Zebras don't bite, but look at their weakness. The zebra says, I want to lead, but the followers are scared. They say, this man is dubious. He has two colors. We don't know if he's black or white. We are confused. What type of leader is this? This is another problem. It says, the elephant trudges into the power tussle, but his colleagues dread his trampling feet. These are leaders that believe they use force and power to achieve leadership. The elephant trudges into the power tussle. Now the followers are scared. That's not all. He said the warthog is too ugly. Warthog is one of the ugliest, the ugliest animals. That's wild pig. If you look at what the man says, there are leaders that have dirty habits. He said the warthog is too ugly. The last one, the rhino, too riotous. I tried to watch a documentary. I saw rhinoceros. You know, anytime it sees fire, it likes to quench it. It does not like fire. It does not like light. So we have leaders that don't like light. If you read this book, if you read them, it's talking about Wole Soyinka's The Lion and the Jewel. America tried to stop civilization from coming into Ilujinle so that it will remain in the dark and be operating the way it wants to operate. But although the message in the book was passed by our finest Wole Soyinka, the first Nobel Laureate Prize winner in Africa, that's a big one for him too. Now, after listing all of these leaders, Niyo Shundare goes ahead. Since it's a satire, for your work to be a satire, you must profess solution to this problem. Now, it says, our need calls for, okay, it says, after all of this, and the park trashes around like a snake without a head. When we have problems of bad leadership, the followers, the people in the society, they'll be moving without direction, like a snake without a head. When you cut off the head of a snake, no direction. You'll be confused everywhere. That's what we see in societies with bad leadership style. Now, it says our need calls for a hybrid of habits. What we need is not what we want. What we need is good leadership. We need to bring habits together. Proclaim the forest sage. What's the meaning of forest sage? You know, poetry, you use fine words. Forest sage, if you go to the forest, the wisest in the forest is the tortoise. The tortoise says, all of you, lion, antelope, all of you, what we need is bringing all your habits together. You that you are a stubborn leader, we need you. You that you are calm, we need you. Let's calm. Proclaim the forest sage. He said, how can we do it? A little bit of a lion. Now the solution is coming in. A little bit of a lion, a little bit of a lamb. Meaning a leader should be strong and vibrant. A leader should be stubborn too, but a leader should be calm a little. He says, he repeats it in case we don't understand. He says, tough like a tiger, compassionate like a doe. You see that? Transparent like a river. A leader should be transparent, not like the zebra. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no. Transparent like a river, mysterious like a lake. A leader who knows how to follow followers, mindful of your right to lead. You see that? So, if you look at that poem now, you will see a perfect example of satire. A perfect example of satire. A perfect example of satire. Now, a satiric poem is designed, or a satiric work is designed to change the status quo, to change things that are not really working well, to change things that are not really working well in the society. You see that? So, we still move on. You've seen a satire. A play can be a satire. A work can be a satire. And your own work. Making of reference to other people's work from a pen in your own work. Making of reference to other people's work in your own work is allusion. Did this sleep? I see devil at work. Let me have it. Making of reference to other people's work in your own work. That is allusion. In a work of art, when there is allusion, allusion to other people's work in your own work. That's allusion. You understand me? Now, for instance, let's look at The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes. You will see that he made reference to history. He said, I looked at the Mississippi and when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans. There was a time that Abraham Lincoln went down to New Orleans State in America, addressed the people, talked. So that type of allusion is called historical allusion. Historical allusion. When you make reference to anything in history, we look at the next one. Sarcasm. You see sarcasm. Sarcasm is used as a figure of speech to talk about something in an indirect way. When sarcasm is involved, then you express yourself indirectly. When sarcasm is involved, you express yourself indirectly. When sarcasm is involved, that means you are expressing yourself indirectly. You are expressing yourself indirectly. That is sarcasm. When you express yourself indirectly, then sarcasm is working. Sarcasm is at work here. Now, how do we mean? This type of irony is used when you say the direct opposite of what you intend saying. When you say the direct opposite of what you intend saying, you see a very unkind person, a person that is not liberal, person that does not give, and you see the person, you say, wow, you know what, I like this man, is a very liberal human being. That is sarcasm. You are just mocking him. Are you following me? You see a very dirty person. His house is never tidy. His clothes his hair is unkempt. His clothes are never clean. And you say, wow, this guy, you know, I like you. You are very neat. He knows that you are mocking him. That's sarcasm. You're just trying to mock somebody. You see? Just trying to mock somebody. So, just trying to mock somebody. That is sarcasm. No problem. Thank you so much. So you're just trying to mock somebody. That is sarcasm. Now look at this. We'll go to the next one. Ambiguity. 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 You see, ambiguity in literature is used. Ambiguity in literature is used when something has more than one meaning. When something has more than one meaning, that's ambiguity. When a statement has more than one meaning. When a statement has more than one meaning, that is ambiguity. You see, it has dual meaning. It has more than one meaning. That is ambiguity. When a statement is like that, then it is ambiguous in nature. You see, it's a kind of figure of speech as well. If you look at it very deep, a statement with more than one meaning, you refer to it as an ambiguous statement. That is ambiguity. You see that? Then let's look at this. Assonance. Assonance. Let's look at assonance. As a figure of speech, assonance comes to play when words with similar or the same vowel sounds are repeated. When the same vowel sound when the same or similar vowel sounds are repeated in the middle of words in a statement. When the same or similar vowel sounds are repeated in the middle of words in a statement. When the same or similar vowel sounds are repeated in the middle of words in a statement, that is assonance. When the same or similar vowel sounds are repeated in the middle of words in a statement. You see, that's assonance. Now, what are we trying to say? It's a figure of sound as well. The assonance is a figure of sound. The assonance is a figure of sound. You see, it comes to play when you repeat the same vowel sound in the middle of words in a statement. So, if I give you an example, let's see. Bill will dig pit. Look at this. Bill will dig pit. See the E, you hear the E sound. You can hear that in the middle of words in a statement. That's assonance. Repeating the same vowel sound in the middle of words in a statement. Repetition of the same vowel sound in the middle of words in a statement. That is assonance. Repetition of the same vowel sound in the middle of words in a statement. That's assonance. You see it? So you don't forget that. I want to say a very big thank you to you guys, wonderful people. Even if that guy is a sleepers, can sleep. But you guys are trying. You are proving yourself strong. You're trying because most time when I ask you my questions, you are not letting me down. But Alex has to just wake up. Alex has problem on his own. Just has to wake up. He has problem. Yeah. Sleeping Beauty has problem too. You see? All right. That's assonance. Repeating the same vowel sound in the middle of words in a statement. Now, hyperbole. 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 Hyperbole is a figure of exaggeration. A figure of exaggeration. A figure of speech used when you are overstating. It's a figure of speech used when you try to express yourself to make your listener understand the importance of what you're trying to say. To make the listener understand the importance of what you are trying to say. To make the listener understand how important what you are saying is. How important what you are saying is. Let's say you are feeling headache. Just simply say you have headache and you say, man, my head is turning upside down. That is hyperbole. That is overstatement. You see it? My head is turning upside down. That is overstatement. You see somebody that is hungry. I say, man, I'm so hungry that I can consume 3 cows. You can consume 3 cows. So, hyperbole is an overstatement. It's a figure of speech used when an overstatement is involved. It's a figure of speech used when an overstatement is involved. Hyperbole is a figure of speech used when overstatement is involved. Are you still there? So take note of that. You use hyperbole when there is an overstatement. When you try to lay emphasis, to emphasize your point, that is when you use hyperbole. Yeah. So that is that. Ellipsis, or you call it elision. Ellipsis, or you say elision. Ellipsis or elision, that's the next one. Ellipsis or elision is a device. It's a literary device used in poetry. It's a literary device used in poetry when there is an omission. When there is an omission. When there is an omission of expression. You omit some word in your poem for the sake of beauty. That is elision. Read The Negro Speaks of Rivers. You see it there. It says, when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans. When Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans. Now the idea is when Abraham Lincoln went down to New Orleans. But if you should put Abraham Lincoln, the sound which he's looking for will not come up. You just want to do Abe Lincoln so that is to make his poem beautiful. That's his style. You know, a black American poet. You know, so that is the idea. Elision helps a lot too. It brings out the beauty of your poem. Use it to shorten. Use it to omit some expression in your poem. That is it. That's elision. Or you call it ellipsis. Take note of that one. Take note of that one. All right. Yeah. Let's look at metaphor. Metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech. Metaphor is a figure of speech which is used. It is a figure of comparison. Metaphor is a figure of comparison, and it's used when two different things are compared. Different things with certain definitely similarities, which you may not see, which others may not easily see. Different things, two different things, two different things. You compare them indirectly without using as or like. Neither are you using seems or resembles. You compare them indirectly without using as or like. Neither are you using seems or resembles. That is it. Without using as or like. Neither are you using seems or resembles. You see it? When you compare things like that, this lady is a snake. This lady is a snake. Maybe you are trying to look at the attributes of a snake. A snake can creep in. You won't even know. You won't hear the sound. You won't know. You see, it will just come in and lock around somewhere. You won't know that there's a snake there. That's how this lady does. She can just come. You won't even know when she enters. So your metaphor, what you are comparing, the two things you are comparing, you should be able to prove them. They must have one thing that will make them similar. That will make them similar. You see it? You can say, wow, you know what, there's something about you. What is it? You are nothing but, in fact, you are nothing but tomorrow. What do you mean by I'm tomorrow? You are tomorrow because nobody can predict you. You are unpredictable. You cannot predict tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow will look like. So think of how you paint your words, make your words fine before you use them. Before you use them. You see, they say in literature that a narrator who is not a character in the story is called an omniscient narrator. That is metaphor. They did not say it's like the omniscient God. They are trying to compare this narrator and God. Why? Omniscient God. He does not need to be physically present before he knows everything that is going on. That's how an omniscient narrator is in a story. He does not need to be in the story. He's outside the story, but he knows everything going on inside. That's omniscient narrator. So it's a metaphor to describe somebody as omniscient. They did not say you are like omniscient, but they said you are, that is it. Paradox. See paradox? Paradox is a figurative device. Paradox is a figurative device used when a statement seems self-contradictory, absurd, useless, or meaningless at first, but makes a complete sense when closely considered. The statement seems useless at first, but makes a complete sense when closely observed. That's a paradox. A useless statement that makes a complete sense when closely observed. You see? A paradox is used to describe a self-contradictory statement. You understand? But makes meaning, but makes sense when you take your time to observe it. If you want to keep your life, be ready to lose it. That is a paradox. It's a statement that does not really make sense. But when you check it properly, there will be sense in it. For you to keep your life, be prepared to lose it. That is just it. For you to keep your life, be prepared to lose it. If you want to live a life of comfort, then leave your comfort zone. That is it. If you want to enjoy, then leave your place of enjoyment. You see? Some of you say, no. My place of enjoyment is where I'm enjoying life. Then you are not ready to enjoy life. If you want to enjoy life, leave your place of enjoyment. If you want to live a life of comfort, leave your comfort zone. These statements are paradoxical. They don't make sense. How can I leave my comfort zone because I want to enjoy life? Then you need to ask people like Abraham. He left his comfort zone. He left his comfort zone. You need to ask people like Joseph. He left his comfort zone. And at the end, he lived a comfortable life. So if you're not ready to leave your comfort zone, then just keep managing life the way you see it. If you want to enjoy a beautiful boat, then be determined to burn your boat. When you burn your boat, you will know that there's no boat again. Then you look for a way to get a better boat. That's the idea. Yes, one time American president did it, or was it an English? I think American president, he did it. Wanted to conquer somewhere, some island, and they sailed their boats. They crossed the sea. They got to the shore of that island. They saw those savages. They said, man, those people, we must take that island. It's okay, what do we do, sir? Bring all the food out. Bring everything out from the boat. Then set the boat on fire. And they set their boat on fire. He said, now, it is either we kill them and take their boats back home, or they kill us. They burned their boats. And at the end, they conquered that island. That's America. America conquered. That is the idea. So if you are not ready to burn your boat, then you will not get to the next level. That is just simple. You want to live a comfortable life, then live your comfortable home. That is it. Paradox. It does not make sense though, but there is sense in it. The rich also cry. Paradox. shout to people, you know, a lot of money, shout. It's not like that. It's like education is part. That's what it means. The same part of life. You see, as a literalism, parody is a work of art. Done to spite another person's work, to mock another person. While you are mocking the person with your own work, you are letting them know that what they have done, they have done amazing. You are trying to correct them with your own, your parody. It's a job, it's a work of art that tends to mock or insult another person's work, or you to prove to them that they've done the right thing, to correct them. See, they have audition class, JP class and followed by audition class at you see the two points. JP class is saying that please, you don't want to, you keep coming and going in this several system. Just stay there with me. Stay out on the baobab tree. Stay there, don't come back. Follow it, please, with your fingers in it. You know it's not enough for you. Please don't want to stay. Give that to me. That's what that's your yeah. Put your mouth on your body. Like you come with your and you give them another child, they look at the child, the mouth is there. You keep coming and we are stressing this one. What's the problem? You don't say, listen how I am. Other children have grown from here. What's the problem? Relationship with life. They come. They just listen. They just ask me about downloading. They just give me the card. They give me how to do it. How to do this in my account. See the video. Now, that kind of job. You see one right now. Something like telling me like nonsense. That's the problem. It's allowed. One thing is make it very right. The leader will do from another leader will do from and you start comparing some civil nonsense. They are very easy. They are quite. They are kind of like without response. Sound from words. They are found in it. Now, I will do it. I will do it. When someone or the person is intended, please say that you know. Now, something. Let's say the person is not. So, if I will do what you do, now the person is one person is one of the things that I will do this as well. The person is I will do this. The person is I will do that. Let's look at one. The clown to the best. The clown to the best. Clown to consider stars in this story. Consider stars in the very one house. Start that is near so all you know from this to all this. All you know is from music. That's it. One is serious. Every there is a one thing but the main thing is fun. God was another being who is the starting back of life. Who is the beginning of all for the beginning of all. These powers, they are not speaking in the form of the common passion. They speak and the compassion in the story. They speak and the compassion for the story. That is that. Because that is and the common passion. That's all. Now, next one is the video. Today is a very good day. Today is a very good day. Maybe that's late. Maybe it's not enough for that. Let's get this something like that. Let's get it touch. But when you see, when for that class, I want you to do it always. Always. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's make it back. Let's make it back. Let's make it back for that. So, if I mean, that is the bias. If you look at Francis in the glasses, you see that it is the perfect example of the video. When you look at that, so beautiful, let's make capturing this on that. Yes, let's make functions. You look at making that video. It's like Lamboy. Can carry Lamboy. It's the very different. It derives pleasure. It derives pleasure in seeing his own sister cry. Derives pleasure in seeing Madame Milton shed tears. Derives pleasure in seeing Madame Milton shed tears. That's it. Opera is also a good redemption way. Opera is a good redemption way. Why? Whereas pleasure, seeing people go through pain. It's a ruthless warlord, a hapless warlord, who is always happy when people are suffering. During the war, he took it as an opportunity to show his strength of person, to show the kind of person that he is, that is from. So healing is a very wicked one that enjoys himself and others are going Narrator is storyteller. Narrator is the link between author and the reader. Does not participate the character. It stays outside the message across to the readers. It stays outside the story, but it knows every single character in the story. It knows every location in the story. It knows every set in the story. So he is a non-participant narrator. He has the eye of God. He has the eye God has. Yes. Non-participant narrator knows everything. He knows everything. Let's look at epigram. Epigram is a short, reasonable statement. Short, reasonable statement. A short, reasonable statement. A short, witty statement. A short, witty statement. An epigram is a short statement that you learn from. A short statement that tells the truth. An epigram is a short, witty statement. Yes. All that live must die. If you need peace, prepare for war. Look at it. An epigram is a short, witty statement. It's a short, witty statement. An epigram is a short, witty statement. Now, we have synecdoche. Synecdoche. The synecdoche is a figure of speech used